Hi, and welcome to It Is Well PT. I am so excited today to talk to you about warm-ups. So I know how tempting it is to walk into a gym or go out for a run without batting an eye of a warm-up. Why would I spend an extra 10 minutes just to get my body ready for what it's about to do? But that's just it. We have to prepare our bodies for what it's about to do. Oftentimes we ask of our bodies a lot. Going on a run is a lot for our bodies. Going and lifting heavy weights, even if it's light weights, preparing our body is not just preparing our physical being, but it's also a mental state. We can get more energized and more motivated for what we're about to do. We can loosen up every part of our body that needs to have the function. So for example, with the squat, being able to get more squat depth so that you're increasing performance, you're increasing the amount of load that you can place on your body so that you're getting stronger faster. So there are so many reasons why warming up is so important, and research backs this up. There's improvement in performance and reduction of injury, but we have to be specific. Today I'm going to teach you a quick, easy routine that you can go through for legs, for arms, for core, and for cardio, so that when you go to do these activities, you can be more confident that you're warming up in the proper way and that you're going to be prepared for what is to come. A lot of literature suggests that getting a general warm-up, so just getting that heart rate up and that body warmed, are two of the most important components in your warm-up. Therefore, we want to start out with a general cardio kind of movement, whether that's walking on an incline, doing a little bit of a run, anything like that, to just get your heart rate up. Nothing too intense though. This isn't your cardio time, okay? This is just a warm-up, so 5-10 minutes max. From there, we're gonna move into more specific things. If you really feel like you're tight, take some time to do either specific physical therapy that you have planned for you, movements for mobility, or even doing a few minutes of foam rolling. From there, we'll move into the more specific stuff. So this is the stuff where I'm gonna break down leg day, arm day, core, and cardio. Let's get started with our leg day warm-up. So first, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with 15 leg swings, forward and back, starting with one leg, switching to the other, and then you're gonna go side to side. So having something to hold on to is really nice, so you're not working on balance. But if you don't have anything to hold on to, you can obviously do it just standing like so. Number 2, walking lunges. Getting into that 90-90 position, tightening up that core, and stepping. You can always add a rotation to this if you're feeling a little tight in the hips, especially in those outer hips. If you rotate this way, you're not only getting a spinal twist, but you're getting a little extra stretch on that glute and that whole IT band region. Now, it's important to note that you're not going to put heavy weight in your hands as you're doing these walking lunges, because we don't want to tire our legs out. We just want to prep them for what is to come. Number 3, after those walking lunges, you can even go right into it. So if you're in that lunge, placing one hand by your leg, you're gonna world's greatest stretch. Open up towards the bent knee, come back, and switch. Just like so. Keeping it dynamic, only holding it for a couple of seconds, because we don't want any static stretching. Just nice and warm to get that heart rate up. Those first 3 are great for any kind of leg day that you're doing, but if you're specifically doing squats, what I want you to do is get into a deep squat, work on that mobility, and really get used to being in that position before you go and put weight on your back, or whether you're holding it in front, or whatever you're doing. An example of that is either holding onto something so that you can keep your chest up and going down, or if you can keep your chest up where you're doing it and you're not overly rounded like this, I want you to try to get as deep as you can. Now, if you have knee issues, back issues, and all that kind of stuff, please take caution, see a physical therapist, get what you need so that you're not going into the position and hurting yourself. Take assessment. Maybe that's not the best position for you. Maybe just going a little bit here and rocking until you can get a little bit lower without any pain. Now, for those of you who don't and can get into a deep position, what I want you to do is rock into that, get comfortable, start working a little bit in that ankle mobility, but also we're gonna add in a spinal twist here. So you're gonna open up towards the ceiling and then stand up, get back down, work into that, and switch. Again, this stays dynamic, so move as you feel comfortable. If there's a sticky spot, hold it, take some deep breaths, try to breathe into that spot. For example, my left hip often feels a little sticky, So what I'm gonna do is breathe into that place. So I'm gonna take a big deep breath in and try to aim it towards that bottom left quadrant as I rotate into that left leg. And that's just gonna help loosen everything up. Number 5 is, again, a little bit more of that hip mobility. You're gonna get into a side lunge, lifting that toe up towards the ceiling, getting as low as you feel comfortable, and then rocking to the other side, same thing. Now, if you feel like both of those are pretty difficult and that you're having trouble with hip mobility, and it seems like a common theme, this is the perfect place to throw in the 90-90 hip mobility. You're gonna sit down on the ground with your front leg at a 90-degree angle. So a lot of people like to do this. I want it to be right out in front of you. On the side, it goes right out here. So if you look at both of your thighs, it should be at a 90-degree angle as well. At your knee joint, 90 degrees, so it makes this nice zigzag. Okay, from there, you're going to lean over that front leg just for a second, feeling the stretch in that glute. Then you're gonna sink back into your back hip. So for me, this is my right hip. And feel that stretch deeper right in this area, working on that internal rotation. From there, you can always make this active. So you can take that back leg, straighten it out, and bring it in front of you. You can even windshield wiper your legs, so coming up, and then windshield wiper one way, up the other way, or even to the full flow, where you would come here, and then stand up into a squat, and then come back down, and reverse. Now I have different variations on this. If you want to see that video, you can always check it out. We often neglect doing single leg work or even lateral movement. These next 3 are really gonna hit on that. The first one is a single leg deadlift. You're gonna have a slight bend in your knees, shifting weight onto one leg. Then you're going to stretch the other leg back as far as you can, hinging so that your body is in line with that leg and trying to keep your hips parallel with the ground. Then from there, squeeze your glutes, come up. And again, you can add in that arm movement if that feels comfortable and natural to you. The second one is sidestepping. So you can either sidestep or monster walk. You're gonna grab a band. You can do this without a band, but it's not quite as effective. And you're gonna put that band right underneath your knees, or if you wanna make it harder, right around your ankles. You're gonna get into a squat and then sidestep, keeping tension on the band all the way to one side and then all the way to the other. Or if you want to try the monster walk variation, same thing, keeping tension on the band, so you're not going to go here, but about halfway, and then step out again. And then once you get to one end, you're going to go backwards, really firing those glute meads and working on not only the lateral movement, but also that strength and pelvic stability. So if you have low back pain, knee pain, please try this out too. The third one that I want you to do is to get out a chair, a bench, something like that, and you're gonna do single leg squats. So what that looks like is either you can put your heel on the ground and come down, soft landing and up, or you can lift that leg up, soft landing, and come up, trying to get that knee nice and stable. So I'm gonna show it from the front, what not to do and what to do. So not this, okay? If you feel yourself doing that, try to put a band around your knees, a light band to give a little bit of proprioception or awareness of what your knee is doing, and a little bit of cueing to keep it out, but this, okay? So I'll show that again. Nice and stable, making sure that knee doesn't cave in, and then nice and controlled up. It's a full leg warm up. It's a little bit more extensive, so if there's certain parts that really resonate with you and feel like you are definitely getting the most bang for your buck, stick with those. My suggestion is to do those first 3, do 1 mobility, and then at least 1 or 2 of those single leg activities or lateral movement. If you can get all of it in, that's even better. Remember, it doesn't have to be a ton of reps, just a few to get your body ready. And now we're gonna move on to the arms. First, start out with a little circles, making them big, just a few, just to get that motion in, and then start backwards with little, and then big, and then move into some hugs. So I usually do about 10 or 15 both directions, and then 10 or 15 hugs. And then from there, you're gonna grab a band, tuck your elbows in by your side, and then palms up, grabbing that band and pulling apart, opening up that chest, and working that external rotation. Now, if you have a cable machine or that band set up that way, you can do external rotation here, or you can even do it up here for a more advanced version, but make sure your shoulder can handle that kind of motion and that it has the strength to do that. If not, take it nice and easy right in here. Then from there, you can do face pulls. Now, this can be attached to a machine, or if you just have one at home and it's not attached to anything, pulling here, keeping elbows high, pulling right at your face. The next one in this arm sequence is a push-up down dog. Now, if you cannot do a full push-up like this here, or if your stomach sags or your neck hangs, go to your knees, that's okay. Your push-up, okay, or knee push-up, and then back into down dog. You can even touch your knee each side, and then come back, push-up, down dog. That's a great shoulder warm-up, chest warm-up, getting everything ready and prepared for what you're about to do. Now, if you're working on shoulder stability, if you're working on shoulder mobility, or if you're doing pull-ups, this is a great move to do. So what you're gonna do is a lat pullover. So your arms stay straight overhead, chin stays tucked. You're gonna pull until you feel a stretch in that lat area, and then pull over. So again, nice, slow and controlled, because what you're doing is stretching your lats under tension, which helps increase that length, making sure that movement is not coming from your back, especially if you're in a ball. If you're on a bench, it is a little bit harder to cheat, but making sure you're not getting that motion from your rib cage or even your low back, but that it's coming from that shoulder joint here and up. Another great one for back stability and shoulder stability is the IYTWs. So what you're gonna do is make an I with your hands, make a Y with your hands, make a T, and then make a W. So going through this a few rounds, nothing too crazy, or you can hold it and really activate. It makes it much harder, but it really activates that low trap and mid trap and gets you ready for especially things like a back day, or if you're doing anything overhead. And finally, for arm day, the last one I'm going to show you is something called the serratus anterior push, or protraction. So you're gonna get on all fours. You can also start on an elevated surface like a wall, and you're gonna bring your shoulder blades together, and you're gonna push them apart, keeping those elbows straight and the shoulders right over top of your arms, just like so. Now, if this is easy, I want you to go into a plank position, or even a kneel position. Or if this is too hard, please go to a wall and get this perfected, because if we don't have good serratus control or serratus strength, then that overhead position gets really hard. Even pushing position gets difficult, and things can get impinged if it's not working well. So please get that done and enjoy your arm day. The core workout has a little less moves, but they're all the more important. So you're going to start by laying on your back and doing some pelvic neutral breathing. So you're gonna get your pelvis into pelvic neutral, so not anterior rotated where there's space underneath, not completely posterior tilted where you're squeezing as hard as you can, but nice and neutral. From there, you're gonna breathe in an even 360 breath. So expanding like a balloon and then breathing out. You're gonna stay here until you feel like you have the rhythm down and that breath nice and solid. This is a great practice to do even if you're not doing a core workout. From there, you're going to tighten up your belly as if someone's about to punch you, and then lift and lower each leg. This might seem really easy, so if so, do about 5 to 10, and then pick it up into dropping that heel, or even lengthening that leg. Again, this isn't a workout, this is just the warm-up, so get that motion ready, get your spine stable. From there, you can add that down dog push-up that we did in the arm workout, or you can even add in a windmill, so I'll show you what that looks like. You're gonna have the front leg facing forward and the other leg perpendicular so that the heel lines up with your arch on the other foot. You're gonna shift your hips towards the straight leg and hinge over like a triangle pose and come back up, really working those obliques here and stretching that out, preparing for whatever oblique work you might be doing in your core. Now, if you're actually doing a windmill, you can always bend that knee and get a little bit more power in that movement. Cardio can look different, so I'm gonna show you something that you can do, especially before running. The first move you're gonna do is heel toe walk, so you're gonna walk on your heels, and then you're gonna walk on your toes, each for about 20 meters or 20 seconds. Then from there, you're gonna go into airplanes, so moving like an airplane as you walk, kind of like that single leg deadlift. Then you can even do hamstring sweeps right after that. So opening up that whole back side, sweeping as you walk. From there, we'll go into high knees. So you're gonna grab your leg first to make sure that glute has enough stretch to get there. Then you're going to push your toes into the ground, powering through a push motion versus a pull motion. From there, you're gonna do some dynamic quad, just like so, all the way down to make sure that your quad has enough length for our butt kicks. From there, we're gonna go into some things that activate our glutes. This would be a great addition to your warm-up if you're doing elliptical, cycling, or rowing, because each of those, you do have to use your glutes, and you do have to have power from those glutes. So this is what it looks like. You're going to lean up against a wall, but not leaning like this, just enough to have support to stand up tall. From there, you're going to sweep, activating that glute, sending it backwards, and then drive that knee forward. So sweep and pull. What that would look like sideways. So I would be leaning just enough so that I need the wall to touch, but not my full support on there. Then I sweep and pull. You can also add in that leg day side step or monster walk, which is a great glute med activity because that's what keeps you from rocking side to side. Those are my 4 simple warm-ups for a leg day, arm day, core, and cardio. If you have questions about any of it or want to know what a good warm-up is for you, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you. And don't forget, if you love learning from me or want to see more instructional videos, subscribe, like my page, and I'll see you next time.